Good afternoon. My name is Susan Doyle and I will be your facilitator today on behalf of Lean Construction Ireland. I would like to welcome you to this Lean Construction Ireland webinar presented by Dr. David Collery, lecturer at Atlantic Technological University. The title of this webinar is Development of the Lean Construction MOOC. If you have a question, please type it in the question box and we will consolidate and ask David after the presentation. If there are any questions that we don't get answered during the webinar, we will follow up by email afterwards. The speaker for today is Dr. David Collery. David is a chartered civil engineer and lecturer at ATU Sligo. He has over 15 years experience in the design and delivery of a range of construction projects. David's research interests and continual learning focus is on lean construction and improving the sustainability of the construction industry through digital technology and material science. I will now pass you over to David to start his presentation. Thanks, David.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you to Lean Construction Ireland and to Box Media for organising this webinar and for inviting myself on behalf of ATU to present on the development of the Lean Construction MOOC. So, and I'd like to thank everybody that's taken the time to log on and either watch this webinar at a later date. So, as I mentioned, so this is a presentation or webinar on the development of a Lean Construction MOOC. So, I'm just going to give an overview of what the presentation will be involved in. So, we're going to look at kind of the background, the need, and what a MOOC is. The structure and delivery methods, and then so just kind of some of the syllabus we will be covering in the course and the assessment structure, and then we will talk about some of the benefits and challenges we face, I suppose, with digital learning and how we can kind of overcome that in partnership. So the first slide is to talk about what a MOOC actually is, and the reason I put this slide together was I was in a meeting a number of years ago, and there was been a discussion on a number of different topics, but a MOOC came up, and I had to lean over to a colleague and ask what actually a MOOC was. So I'm hoping this course, when it is completed, will become a MOOC. So that's saying a massive open online course. What I can definitely say, it's going to be an open online course, and I suppose hopefully doing presentations like this and getting the word out that this course is available, that we'll make it a massive course. So basically that is dictated by the number of actually learners that undertake the course. Some key points to know about typically about MOOCs. One, that they're normally free online courses, so there's no charge for attending them. They might not be QQI accredited. I'll come back to that. And then also they normally are kind of an introduction to a topic or an area of interest, so it kind of is a high level introduction. And the awards on completing the course is either a badge or CPD certificate or completion notice. So you get an award for actually completing the course. So that's without maybe 5 credits. So that's what an overview of a MOOC actually is. So the Lean Construction MOOC, and a little bit of background about the development of the Lean Construction MOOC is that the MOOC is part of a higher education 4.0 project. So this is a project that's been undertaken at ATU, or was actually developed when with IT Sligo, GMIT, and Letterkenny IT before we became an ATU. And of course, the project was to develop to develop and design, transform the way adult learners and employers engage with third level education. So most people do a Leaving Cert to come out, do a course, or if they go and up do a trade or do a degree, and then they finish, go into industry, and that's really that is the relationship they have with third level education. But this program or project is trying to break that down and actually try to make, if employers or individuals want to get back into understanding courses or doing courses of continual personal development, how the kind of third level education can be more accessible. And the project itself is broken into two main sections. So one is outward facing, and the other one is second half is inward facing. So the outward facing is the funding was about 12.5 million that was received into the ATU last year on this. And the outward facing is trying to develop recognition of prior learning, or recognize people's experience in the industry and how that can actually benefit them to get access to courses, or even maybe get exemptions from some subjects inside a course. They don't have to do that because they do that on a day-to-day basis, and then they can maybe focus on the area that they want to maybe get the learning items from. And the second part of this would be inward facing, so we're kind of developing a bank of resources and to set the scene that this lean construction MOOC is one of 50 possibly sub-projects inside this overall higher education program, and we're developing a kind of a resource that's accessible and can be used time and time again. And that's really coming to what lean construction is on what our MOOC actually is about. So there's a website there if you want to know more about the lean construction, or also if you want to know more about the recognition of prior learning, you can go online on the highered4.ie, and that'll demonstrate the whole website set about it and how it actually is part of this overall higher education 4.0 project. So the lean construction MOOC, we developed as a part of the proposal for this research funding was to develop. Trevor McSharry, head of Department of Civil Engineering and Construction at ATU Sligo, researched, and myself researched, that actually there wasn't a MOOC, an Irish-based MOOC, accessible. And when we started looking outside, there wasn't many MOOCs full stop in lean construction. There was a lot of courses, but we said maybe the industry could do with just having an approach that would recognize, to bring people up to a baseline understanding of what lean is and then what lean construction is. And that's why the basis of the application went in, and we were lucky enough to gain funding. And that's where the support and funding is coming for the likes of colleagues and myself to be involved, and also development of the program from videographers and different internal designers working on the project. So, and it's a sub-project to Higher Education 4.0. So that was the kind of a bit of background to our MOOC and our structure. So the next couple of slides will be just about the structure and delivery method of our MOOC. So when we were kind of looking at developing a MOOC, we set up a few key suppose principles of what we wanted to MOOC be, and the first one was making sure it was accessible. The people in the industry who want to do it or want to understand what's maybe lean construction is, can access it. So and that's really having it online is a key part of that. What it's going to cover, as I mentioned, it's a high level subject course. So it's going to cover the fundamentals of what lean is, and then how that applies to the construction industry. We also wanted to be industry focused and real project examples, and that was something that I find that it should try to make it more tangible to people who are doing the course, to go, oh, okay, actually I know that company, I might even have worked with that project team or that site manager, or at least it's going to be, it's been developed mainly for the Irish market, because the examples of real industry focus and real project examples will be from Irish construction projects. And the last point from kind of, we wanted this to be, make sure it's a stepping stone. So it might be that an individual might just do this and have an appreciation of what lean construction is, and that might be enough, and that's all they might need to know. Or there might be other people that will say, well, actually, I was really interested in it. I would like to go on and actually gain more about it and find out more information on lean construction and how it can be implemented on projects. And that's what I'm saying. It is, I suppose, the first step on the ladder of developing that information, that knowledge. So, as I noted there, just having the accessibility of it. As I mentioned earlier, it is a free open course, so there's no cost to actually undertaking the project or undertaking the course. But that can also be it's mainly a benefit. It can also be a constraint, and I'll touch on it slightly later how that could be the case. It's flexible, so you can do it anytime you register. Once the course is live, which will hopefully be in October, you can have the link, you register to do the course, it will allow you access to it, and then you continue on and you can complete the course maybe either in a week, probably take condensed down, it'll probably take about 4 hours to complete it, but you can do it in a short period of time, or you can do it over a number of weeks. There will be a time limit saying that you need to have it done. I think we're talking about 6 to 8 weeks that you need to have it completed, because otherwise you'll start forgetting what, and making sure people are reminding people that they have registered for this course. How it's going to be delivered, it's going to be kind of recordings and videos. The notes will all be made available, the slide decks. There will be a discussion forum if there's any questions, and it will be done on quizzes with other lean construction resources made available, different links to if the individual or the learner wants to find out that little bit more information on a specific topic. That will be part of the page. How it's going to be delivered, it's going to be hosted on Moodle, which is our delivery platform here at ATU. It's very similar to Blackboard. Lots of students have maybe done it. You get involved. It's a very straightforward, simple kind of platform to deliver these things. So there's no problem. People just get used to it, and then the content comes out, and the system of the platform just falls into the background. Is what we want. So just a kind of an overview of some of the structure of how we're going to deliver this MOOC. So the way we designed the MOOC is that we're going to have it it's going to be fully recorded, but we're going to have each unit, and we have 8 units that makes up the course. Each unit will be maybe 10 to 15 minutes of a recording, but each recording that will cover the theory and some of the theory behind some of the concepts which you just have to cover. So that will be 5, and each recording will be broken into a 5-minute slot. So it'll be like, if it's an introduction to the MOOC, there could be 2 recordings, and there'll be 2 recordings broken into 5-minute slots. There will be slides available at the background, so each of the slide decks that's even used as part of the presenting, so capturing the theory and notes, because different individuals prefer to maybe learn in different manners. Some people like to get the slides, print them out, and write notes as they listen to the recording. Others just are happy just to speed up the recording and fly through it. But we all learn differently, and that's part of having this different content available in different formats. Then we will we'll have maybe 10 to 15 minutes recording of the theory, maybe a 4 or 5 minute recording of an example of a real life project where it's applicable. So if we're doing like value stream mapping or fishbone diagrams or last planner, that we actually go out to site and we actually interview an Irish project that's implementing or using that method to actually deliver the lean construction improvements. So that's really kind of they have some theory, then they're going back out to actually a real life, to breaking up different approaches, and it should hopefully try to make it a little bit more interesting. And then at the end for that unit, there might be a 2 or 3 minute video just recapping on what we've just seen. And also, if it's applicable, there might be just an example, a fishbone diagram. There might be a worked example of a fishbone diagram, saying this is how we do it, just as you have been doing on that site, and what the theory. So kind of bringing it all together, and that's the close of that unit. So moving on, so some of the fundamentals, lean fundamentals, and so the lean principles is, we'll cover that in the syllabus sections, a few slides on that later on. And then we have some of the lean tools and lean techniques, and that's also time, but that's really to cover the real fundamentals of what lean is, and how that then applies to the lean construction aspect of it. As I mentioned, industry focused and real project examples. So we're looking at several companies have kind of had some feedback on the content and how we're approaching it, and the kind of structure. And the general feedback was that the structure they thought was quite good. There's not just a lecture recording, and using the industry examples would help break that up and make it a little bit more tangible and real for the learner. We have 8 units, and what we're hoping for is possibly 4 to 5 real life recordings as part of these units. Some units just won't adopt themselves to being having an on-site recording, and other units will. So where we can, we're trying to engage with companies that do these different approaches, and then trying to maybe, if you agree, that we can go down and actually do a live or do a recording of it. Will be edited, be sent back for approval, that they're fully happy what's going to be presented, and that's the approach. We're in the middle of the process of doing that at the moment. And then, as I noted, a stepping stone. So the lean construction MOOC is a first step on the ladder. It's a stepping stone. So we will have, I suppose, a CPD award, a certificate issued after completion the course. It's starting the lean journey, as we say, but it's hopefully being a free, accessible course that we can get a whole range of different people involved in the lean construction, up to a plateau of understanding that they all appreciate some of the terminologies that's been used, and then from that they may be interested in doing other courses. They may not need to, but what I would say the most important element would be is trying to get the teams out to do lean project example experience. So whatever they do, it's really, you can do all the courses you want, but unless you're implementing it on a project, then you're really learning it, you're getting to know it, and the benefits are only achieved when you actually do it on site. Although you might get the awards and the accolades from doing courses, the benefits only come from real projects and doing it on site in industry. So that's what we're all here to try to achieve and try to promote, is the last element. It's the people have an understanding of what lean is, lean construction, and actually then implementing it within their own organizations. And this is only the first step of a whole range. They could continue on, do a certificate in BIM and lean construction here at ATU. There's also approved LCI approved courses. The white belt is available, which is very dovetail and lovely in with the lean MOOC. And then you have your orange and green belts that will be coming in the future. There's other good CPD courses in Engineering Ireland and different things like that. These are all steps on from the lean construction MOOC. So just to have an idea how we're progressing in our content. So we've only 2 more real steps to cover, and that'll be wrapping up my presentation, and then we'll have some Q&A after that. So we'll have just a couple of slides on the syllabus, and then a slide or 2 on the benefits and challenges that these type of courses present. So on the lean construction MOOC, our learning outcomes, and what are we kind of looking for the the individual who completes the MOOC to have an appreciation. So it's not an in-depth knowledge, but it's understanding the terminology and the understand different, somebody says fishbone diagram or root cause analysis, visual management, or VSM. They have an appreciation of what that is, and hopefully the appreciation is that it's not that complicated. It's because fundamentally, if lean is complicated, it won't work. It has to be understandable and straightforward, and we have to be fit to see the benefits of doing it in a relatively short period of time, or at least some benefits, or the potential of doing it. So understand the lean principles. What is lean from the customer's perspective? Continual improvement, trying to what is value, and whose value are we looking for, and if you understand value, then understand waste and why we're trying to omit waste, and then that gives us more scope to add value to other activities. Different lean tools that's available, Kanban, different things, and different techniques that you might visit to find out the root cause analysis of it. The whole approach about continuous improvement as a concept, just what we do today is slightly better than what we did yesterday, and we're constantly trying to improve. And that goes, most people turn up to a job to do a good job. Sometimes the systems don't allow them, or things get in the way, but 9 out of 10 will turn up to try to promote and do and want to have a feel-good factor of doing a good job. So helping them doing that continuous improvement it's kind of naturally built in to all of us. And then an appreciation of value stream mapping, 5 or 6 S's, last planner, and I said appreciation because this is a short overview of each one of them. So some of the syllabus, so how it's going to be structured. We have introduction to lean, unit 2, some history of lean, where has lean been developed. So this is introduction to lean and introduction to lean construction, where it's come from. Unit 2, understanding what an example of the 8 wastes within, and real kind of examples of what a waste is from the construction aspect, construction industry. What is flow and what's the importance of value stream mapping? So understand if you don't know what you're doing, you level fit to know what's adding value and what's potentially not as a waste. And then units 5, 6, and 7 is the sort 6 S's, lean tools such as fishbone diagram in unit 6, root cause analysis, mistake proof, and visual management, and the overview of the last planner. So just a couple of slides on this. So introduction, just the philosophy of what lean is and how we're trying to continually do better. Unit 2, progress probably from Henry Ford all the way up to the current day in a short couple of recordings, to give the appreciation of where and why lean has been developed and by whom. So as the automotive industry being where most of it came from. Understanding the construction waste, flow and value stream mapping. And I'd say the 6 S's, and safety being the 6th S in this, because whatever we do in the construction industry, fundamentally safety has to be at the heart of it, for a whole plethora of reasons. But just making sure people can go home the same as they've come to work in the morning is probably the simplest explanation of what we're looking for. And then lean tools, so a fishbone diagram, a root cause analysis, Kanban, feeding into visual management. Unit 7 would be looking at Kanban, visual management, the benefits of that, how easy it is to explain that, and then an overview of what the last unit 8, last planner, and then just a recap on the overall module or the sub course, and then just saying other paths that we can get additional information. So how are we going to assess the syllabus and understand how maybe students aren't just moving forward and clicking? So the way the module is going to be, or the course is going to be structured, so they'll do 2 units, and then there will probably be 2 to 3 units, and then there will be a multiple choice question, and they're going to have to achieve an 80%. There might be only 15 or 16 questions in it, multiple choice questions, but they're going to have to achieve a percentage of 70 or above to allow the next 2 units to be opened up. Now, they can go back and have a go at it again and make sure that so it's kind of a natural it's a waterfall type approach, that they can only progress as they've got 70% or above on that multiple choice question. So that's the kind of structure. And so when they get to actually completing and doing the last quiz, that they will have automatically be receiving the attachment for completing the course. So that's the format we're going to have in place. So it's fully be automated, and it will be so somebody could access it at very late in the evening, continue through it, do it all within a couple of maybe 3 to 4 hours, and have the course completed. So the feedback we got from industry was, originally we were going to set this up as it's open in October, and you have to have it completed by December. Then it's open in January. It has to be completed, and having in a staged process. But if we were asking all our individuals or people that's going to be working on a potential project to have undertaken the lean construction MOOC, so they all have an appreciation of actually doing this, then that type of structure wouldn't work, where maybe if you ask a subcontractor to come on board and all of his operatives or people involved in his team to actually have this completed before they come to site, and they come to site in 2 weeks' time, that structure wouldn't work. But the structure we have now is actually that they log in and they can do it anytime, allows that to kind of maybe request to be put in place. That's the kind of overview we were looking at. So I'm just moving on to the last few bits. So some of the challenges we feel that look at about any new course is first trying to get the information out there. So trying to get people to know about the MOOC, that it will be available, and will be pushed, and we'll be communicating out when it's available. But it's also having talking to yourselves and actually saying that the benefits of doing this MOOC are. So as I mentioned, it's online, so limited interaction. So it's not going to be the same as being in a room with a lecturer or trainer coming in and going through the presentation and talking and being a bit more asking questions, interactive. That's just it. It's not that. But where we're trying to overcome and have a little bit more interaction is we're talking about, we will be putting in this H5P, which means you're watching through a video and it might have a slight interactive, that a question might pop up and you have to drag and drop what was on the last slide. Not constantly, because it breaks the flow of the recording, I find, but we'll have a few of them embedded in some of the recordings. So you can't just hit play and head off for a cup of tea. You can do that, but you'll be caught every now and then to do these drop, to just make sure you're engaged in the recording. As I mentioned, free. It's normally a good thing, but the way I would say possibly a bad thing is people don't value things that are free in many senses. So sometimes the more you charge people for a product or something, the more they actually value it. And that would be no different with a course. There could be a lot of people registering for this and never completing it because they go, I never got around to it. But if they had paid for it, the company had paid for it, and they registered for it, you'd find that they'd end up being a lot more actually people completing it. So as I said, it is a positive, but it can also be people maybe not valuing it as much as they should. And that comes back to us getting feedback from industry and making sure that actually, if there is a section that doesn't really work that well, or benefits of it aren't as good, then we get some feedback and then we have a chance to change it and improve on it. So if we have a good lean construction MOOC, offering, then it should be fit. This shouldn't be a problem, because if it's valued, then people should actually in the industry say, oh, that's actually a pretty useful little course to do. Give me an understanding of the last planner system and what a value stream mapping is, etc. And that's what we're looking for, to get the baseline knowledge of across the industry up, so people understand what lean construction can be and what the benefits are. So there's some of the challenges we have. Some of the benefits. So as I said, it is an introduction just to lean construction. It is free. Accessibility, so it can be accessed when it was up and running, hopefully at any time. There should be no reason for it. There's a short recordings, so they shouldn't be too taxing to do. 5 minutes recording, and we're trying to bring real life projects actually into it. So you might know the project down the road, or you might know that company. So making that a little bit more realistic. And then there is a certificate for completing it. So that's kind of the evidence for that person saying, actually, yeah, I was did that project, did that course. Here's my parchment or the online certificate, same as a similar CPD. So that's kind of the benefits of it. We talked about the challenges, and really that's kind of the few bits I had on this lean construction MOOC. So I actually really am grateful that the Lean Construction Ireland have offered us the opportunity to present on this. And look, I'm very happy to take any questions for anybody that has them. So thank you very much.
Thanks, David. I'd like to thank David for a very insightful presentation, very interesting. Again, as I said, if you have any questions you want to pose to David, just pop them in the question box and I'll ask him now. We have a few in already, so we'll kick off. When will the course be open? Like, is it open anytime, or are there specific dates that people can enroll?
Yeah, it's the course will probably should be opened in October, and then it should be once you have the link, you can access this at any time. It should be fit so you can at any time registration and carry out the course. So that's
okay. So there's no kind of cut-off point or anything. You can just enroll whenever you wish.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, perfect. How did companies get involved, and is there scope for other companies to get involved?
So yeah, no, there is some other scope. We basically went through an email list and we contacted a whole range of different companies to see what the interested are, what the covering any of these topics on their projects, and if so, could we actually go down and actually do a recording on that project or that organization. So there is scope. We have probably one or two more, maybe Kanban, a few different examples that we would like to do. So if there's anybody interested in actually, I think the organization, our company, our project could be involved in this, please I'd say drop me an email and we can take it from there.
Okay, perfect. Another question in from an attendee. They're asking, how will they get the links for the course?
The links for the course will be once it's made available. It'll be on the ATU Sligo web page, and also we'll be promoting it out on different LinkedIn and different offerings that way. So, but it will be contact go to ATU Sligo, open up the web page, go to construction or in engineering, and then you'll find the link to the MOOC then.
Okay, great. You couldn't just shout out your email address there. Just we have a company already who wants to get involved, and they just want to know what your email address is so they can drop you an email.
Yeah. So it's Collery, Collery@David@itsligo.ie, and the last bit's changing, but to ATU. But at the moment, itsligo.ie will get to me, because even any email sent to that will still be forwarded on to our new email address as ATU.
Okay, perfect. Another question in, I know you probably covered some of this in the presentation, but someone just asking, can the course be completed in a couple of evenings, or can they take whatever length of time they want to do it? Is there a restriction?
We're going to put a restriction on saying that, look, if you're not within 12 weeks or something, you will get a reminder saying you need to complete the course, else it will drag on. But on the same side, you can sit down and complete the course all within one sitting. So you could go through it probably 3.5 hours just to complete the course. But there will be a cut-off time as well, else to be too many people just registered but not completed. So we want to be give them a push to move them on.
Move them along, yeah, absolutely. Okay. I have one final question here for you. How will companies know if individuals have completed the course?
That's a good question. They're all good questions. At the moment, there'll be the parchment or the CPD learning will be coming out from IT Sligo automatic, or from ATU Sligo automatically once you complete the course. So they should get an email with the digital certificate on it. That all individuals will be getting on that. There is talk about having a facility that if a company wants to register and have a number of employees, maybe with that certain email address, that then they could log in and pull down the list that's actually completed. So there is, I'm not too sure about the last element of it, but that's something we're looking at. And it's probably something that if companies come back and say, look, we'd really like that as the HR, I'd like to go in and just actually see who's actually completed it, that such facility, that's something that might be made available. But that's at the moment, it's planned to be just the first one. With the second one, there is discussions about maybe allowing employers in to have such their own web pages, web addresses.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have any final comments before we finish up?
Well, probably one. It really is. I would see this as a two-way path. So basically, we're going to offer this out, and there will be things that will work well and items that maybe not work as well. And I think the feedback is going to be really important, because we're going to try to change it and make it as best as we can. So it's up to us to have a good offering for ourselves within the industry, that we can say, well, actually, if we want people to get up to speed on what lean construction is, a good overview of it, you can go and do that free online course, and that'll at least give people an understanding of what last planner is, what value stream mapping is. So I think it's kind of feedback is key, and that's how we improve, and that goes for, I suppose, for every aspect of our life. So we'll be looking for feedback once the course gets up and gets running. If you think something doesn't work, so let us know and we'll look at it. That's what I'd say. And thank you for the time and being involved.
No problem. Thanks, David. Thanks again to David for today's webinar presentation. Please note that a copy of this webinar will be sent out to everyone who attended. Information will be sent out shortly in relation to the next webinar taking place on the 28th of July. For information on this and other webinars, the annual conference, the annual book of cases, and other LCI resources, please visit leanconstructionireland.ie and follow the Lean Construction Ireland LinkedIn group page. Finally, thank you to everyone who attended today, and we very much look forward to meeting you at future Lean Construction Ireland webinars. Thanks, David. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Bye now.